The Constitution of the United States of America is the greatest document for governance the world has ever seen. I mean, think about it. Once it was ratified, the greatest civilization in the history of our planet sprang into existence, and it happened almost overnight, and not by accident. It's because the Founding Fathers understood the importance of not allowing a central government to become too bloated and to over-regulate its citizens. They understood that if personal liberties and freedom were left with the citizens, that the people would use that freedom to unlock their unlimited potential. And we have. That's why we're the most prosperous nation ever. There's two key elements to the Constitution: the vertical axis of federalism and the horizontal axis of the separation of powers. Federalism is simple. It just means that the federal or central government needs to be small, with very few, very specific enumerated authorities. And all of the other power or authority is left to the states. The separation of powers, or the horizontal axis, is a separation between the legislative branch that makes the laws, Congress, the executive branch that carries out the laws, that's the president, and the judicial branch that interprets the laws, that's the court system. When the vertical axis of federalism and the horizontal axis of the separation of powers is functioning properly, prosperity is always the result. Unfortunately, we've allowed our elected representatives to fracture the vertical axis of federalism by giving unconstitutional authority to the federal government, and we've also allowed the elected representatives to fracture the horizontal axis of the separation of powers by allowing some branches of government to be able to make laws, execute laws, and interpret the laws. And the result's been disastrous. In fact, we can trace almost all the problems in our country today. Our problems at the border, our $34 trillion of debt, and everything else that causes us anxiety. They are all a result of the fracture of federalism and the fracture of the separation of powers. So please, stand with me by electing me as the next United States Senator from the state of Utah. I promise I will do everything in my power to mend and patch the fracture of federalism and the fracture of the separation of powers and restore conservative constitutional governance. I guarantee you that if we do that, all of our problems will be solved and much more quickly than you may think. Thank you.